Hello everyone, MetroidMaster here. I am honored to be kicking off the Kirby block, although I almost did not, right? Anyway, yes, I will be playing Kirby Knightmare in Dreamland, except I won't be playing as Kirby. We're doing Meta Knightmare 100%, where the goal is I will be running through the game as fast as I can and hitting all of the hidden switches that are in the game, and then I will be completing the game. So with me on my commentary, I've got...
You got me, Dark Soul 188. If you didn't see me last night, you might have seen me during the hosting for Yakuza Kiwami team. But otherwise, I am here to commentate for Meta Knight, because Meta Knight is hard to talk and do things at the same time.
Right, and Dark Soul, I believe you are the current world record holder for this category, yes?
I am. I've had that record for a little while. It's been hard to try to get it any lower, though.
Right.
But I like to hope I know to run decently.
Right. All right, so Meta Knight is out to practice his sword play. So let's go do some sword play. All right, if we are ready on the time, heaven or hell, duel 1. Let's rock!
Alright, so to get into things real quick, Meta Knight, you can already tell, runs quite a bit differently than Kirby does. For starters, he is heavier, he is a little bit faster, but his air momentum's a lot worse. For example, Kirby will move at running speed when jumping, Meta Knight moves at walking speed. Also, his sword carries a lot of momentum with his attacks, and there are several attacks. He actually has like a full moveset compared to almost everything else in the game, which has maybe 1 to 2 moves. But most of the time, we're not going to want them. We're going to want the standard sword slash for its range, which is relatively quick execution. Once in a while, we might want like an up stab or the down stab if we're trying to get down quickly, or even more rarely is a dash attack, but we usually don't need this. And finally, cast a slide in move where the sword actually stays out and does do a little bit of damage, but it's not very good. And as you can see, this thing is very good at clearing fights. It does about the same damage as Kirby's normal sword ability.
Very clean 1-1 and 1-2.
Yes, and just to add to that, it is very difficult to actually do this run. As you can always see, Meta Knight has 3 health, so it is very easy to take hits if you're just kind of off on your movement. And it's even easier to just die sometimes because, well, things can happen. And I believe you were telling me that you actually had something you're going to be doing for death on this one.
Yes, so I will be donating $1 for every death that I take and $5 for every game over. There's sometimes where I may end up taking an intentional game over to refill my lives if I feel like I need to, but we will see how that goes. So far, we're looking very clean.
So far we're doing good. We're not taking too much damage, at least not yet. But this is only the first world, so it is a little bit simpler right now. Yeah,
we just saw that dash attack there. That was actually accidental. Ow. There's that hit.
Yeah, most of the time if we're doing dash attack, it's probably on accident, because it's very easy to still be holding the direction and attacking, which is something you don't want to do if you're trying to just do standard slash.
Alright, so that's stage 4, and now we're getting on to our first boss. Unfortunately, we do have to bully a tree.
Yeah, so this is Wispy Blades. It doesn't take much. He's a tree, he can't move, so we just sit there slashing blades, and that's kind of the fight. But anyways, as we get into our second level here, Ice Cream Island, this would be a pretty decent time for any messages from the host.
Thank you very much. Well, the most important message we have right now is that if you want to get any donations in for the Kirby Star Allies bid war, it will be closing at the end of this run. Adeline and Ribbon currently sit in first place at $106, with the three Mage Sisters in second at $31.69, with a lonesome dollar to Gooey's name. If you want to try and upset Adeline and Ribbon, now's your last chance, and if you want Gooey to feel a little bit less bad about having only $1, that would also be a good thing that you could do too. And don't forget, money towards a poll can also go towards a target.
Adeline is cute, but I really love some Gooey. Whoa! There's one.
Each of the three are honestly really good runs, if I can hype those up. Dewey's actually kind of fun. Adeline has a very fun way of fighting bosses, and that's the most I will say about them. And the Mage Sisters are fast. You will not be disappointed with any of the three, but definitely get those donations in if you either want to make sure the current outcome stays the same, or if you want to upset that one.
Yeah.
Otherwise, at the moment, we're gonna watch, well, by this point, MetroidMaster has already finished this stage, and it's going through 2-3, which...
Water!
We have the fun part, water. Meta Knight is not a very good swimmer, as you've already noticed. He's heavy, he falls down kind of quick, he can't really swim that fast unless you spam down and then like A to kind of get around.
I thought you just
But
helped
otherwise
them.
it's not too bad. Otherwise it's not too bad. We've also got, but this is also our first appearance of the Meta Knights, as they're called. For some reason, I don't know why Meta Knight is challenging Meta Knight to this fight, but whatever. It's a Kirby game. Don't ask questions.
Spawn in, thank you. And smack. Whoops, I got hit. Oh well. That was actually a on-purpose hit there. It's just
yeah. The end of this fight, we actually do a slight damage boost to get through it a little bit faster.
And don't worry, I may be at 1 health, but it's not as scary as it looks. Because there's a nice tomato.
Thankfully we have health coming up, which is great. Fun, but again, it's easy to die. It happens. Meta Knightmare is a slightly harder mode. Very fun mode. It's definitely one I would recommend if you're looking for like a new game that either just try out casually or as a speedrun. It's a very fun speedrun.
And get my life back there. Ooh, okay. Some of these enemies like to spawn in some very unfair positions. It's just unfortunately how the game was designed. Sometimes you'll just get hit and there's not a whole lot you can do about it. But you know, we just try our best.
Yeah, I think somebody put it, the way you learn Meta Knightmare is like you learn the movement and then you have to learn like every possible pattern of every enemy for what because you have to adjust your movement for so many things sometimes. Also, if you're not quick, as I finally saw just now, sometimes the shots will just hit you in that first round.
That room was actually really clean, so I'm pretty happy with that. Gonna get the little soda pop there, flashing lights. I'm sorry, forgetting that they're coming up. Yeah, those what do we call them? The crash bombers.
They are called a bomber.
Yeah,
yes.
bomber. When they land, they do a big explosion, so flashing light warning. And then now we have the paint roller. I don't like her placement there, but otherwise not bad.
Paint roller is a little bit scary because, yeah, the paint has come to life, but also, as long as the movement isn't too bad, it's honestly a pretty simple fight. But that's most fights with Meta Knight until they aren't.
And now we have some of the best music in the game, butter building.
Yeah, so if you have like any modes for bangers, now is definitely your time to use those.
Hey, I want to hear donations to hear what your favorite Kirby music is.
That too, please.
Like, if you got a favorite Kirby music, let me know in the chat. Let me know on your donations.
Or favorite Kirby game. That's also fun to hear a lot of the time. Also, we finally get into the difference between standard Meta Knightmare and 100% Meta Knightmare, and that's these switches. especially when Master mentioned at the start of the run. The difference is that we hit all of those. These unlock different extra things like arenas for abilities, which we can use for Meta Knight. But he also gives us health refills if we absolutely need one. Hopefully we don't. The other thing to unlock is stuff like mini games, which we can't play any of them because they're all closed. Unfortunately. Poor Meta Knight doesn't get to play Bomb Rally until Return Deluxe.
That was probably a mistake. And now we have grapplers. Fighting game players, worst Knightmare!
Also Kirby runners worst Knightmare in this game. But Buzzy's movement is very interesting and he likes to grab you. The worst thing, apart from dying, of course, that's also not fine.
Which
but
we are at 2.
Also, the worst thing is what we call driving down the better building, where he does what we call down throw, where he just slams you into the floor over and over.
Yeah, it's one of his more rude attacks.
If you're wondering, yes, we also refer to Buzzy's other attacks as, I think, forward throw and back throw, respectively. And buds. Because there's little buds that he can fire back.
Yeah, imagine being a fighting game player and then you have to deal with the grappler that also has a projectile. Like, it's rough. But, that's what they do. They make you have to space and think.
Speaking of space and think, do we have space for a donation?
Heck yes.
Yes, definitely.
We do have a $10 donation from Anonymous, who put it towards making Adeline and Robin go even further in the lead. The love for Kirby 64 is truly unbeatable. And of course, if you do want to put some money towards GATE, their work on movement building focuses on increasing training, support, and capacity building opportunities, and the availability and accessibility of financial support for trans, gender diverse, and intersex communities and movements.
Poor Ribbon. Now she is Robin.
That's right. It's been a hot minute since I last played 64. I started to think, like, okay, who was Ribbon? And I was like, oh, it's the little fairy that follows you in the game.
Yeah, she's also quite cute. She actually flies Adeline around when you hover with them.
Oh, that is adorable. Alright, we have more bombers, so possible flashing lights warning. I will try to take them out before they cause any trouble. Shot says, please behave. That was on me. Oh, okay, that's okay. We have a soda pop there. We could get one that health back, and one more rally. Door opens.
Yeah, somehow this stage actually is super generous about health. Like you get a tomato after you get an energy drink during the bomber room. You get a tomato after that. You get another energy drink in the room following it. You get yet another energy drink if you really need it, but you shouldn't, because the switch also gives you a health refill. If you were leaving this stage at anything but full health, honestly, that's fair, because the last couple of rooms are kind of rough.
Grab the Maxim tomato here. Alright, and now we get to the boss, Mr. Shine and Mr. Bright. So are we Sun Gang or Moon Gang? Let me know in chat. We are Moon Gang today. Whoop.
So that is a common, or was a common kind of thing amongst a lot of runners of this game. Was to choose like between the sun or moon, because if you choose right, you save like a second. And if you don't, then you waste a little bit of time having to move back over, and they might be able to get like an extra attack in otherwise.
UFOs!
Or you can be slightly boring and not choose a side at all and just wait for whichever one comes up.
I am surprised I did not get hit by the ball there, but I'm glad that I did not. Because that would have been my life.
I see somebody had a couple in chat that went Moonbeam. One actually said Sun, just to be competitive. I'm glad somebody agreed.
These tornadoes have my number.
I'm like one of the only people who actually chooses Sun Jane every time. There used to even be a couple of shirts done in reference to that, but they were like a short-term thing. They've long since stopped being sold. But they were like a thing that Mr. Shasta actually had. It was kind of neat.
Shoutouts to Mr. Shasta.
Yeah, also very good runner. Very good runner. I'll save any further shoutouts for the next run. We'll be commentating on that one.
Alright, now we've got the double Poppy Brothers room, which is, by the way, a really
Also,
scary fight! And that's why.
Especially on one health, but I feel like I know what happened.
I didn't swing in time, I think. Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, now I see it. Yeah, that's what I thought happened. Sometimes you miss your attack, you just end up taking up onto the face, you know, as they do.
Yep. So that's what, 4 now?
That is 2, actually.
2 deaths? I could swear I've taken like
Actually, wait,
3.
no, it would be 3.
At least 3.
Yeah, it's 3. Yeah, 3. Sorry, I didn't count. But while we are going through this next stage and switch, if there's any new messages, this would be a good time for them.
We actually do, in fact, have a $5 donation from Tempest Mask 1000 saying, favorite Kirby tracks? Easy ones. Knightmare's final fight, Machine Passage from Air Ride, Dark Meta Knight's fight, and especially Road to Victory from Returns Arena. First note for the cancelled GameCube games trailer. Interesting.
Oh, wow.
Best of luck, MetroidMaster. I hope to be running this nostalgic game soon.
Right on.
Oh, those are the really good picks.
Yeah, Missing Passage
I
is
think
really fun.
I think amongst my favorites, outside of Butter Building, that's one that came up earlier. Also from Return to Dreamland, Sky Tower, I think it's called. That is still one of my favorite tracks. Also, Moonlight Canyon from Forgotten Land is a absolute banger of a track in that game.
Phew, okay. Had to remember my pathing on that room for a minute. I was like, no, I need the lower path. This isn't like Sonic where you always want to take the higher path.
I mean, Kirby did have a little Sonic as a treat. We did just have Sonic Block.
We did.
That could have almost been like the sort of Kirby block because of Avalanche.
And now we have one of the scariest mini-bosses in the game, and that's why.
Yeah, so welcome to Fan. Fan likes to throw you. Fan also has multiple fun nicknames like Elefun, Fan P.
Thankfully, fewer rollouts that time. Although that jump was very scary.
I've already dinosaur 4th death, and I've not heard Bully, but sure. I'm not a fan of fan. I'm surprised nobody's used that before. We have Fanpy at home. Fanpy at home.
So we've already had like a few invincibility candies. You want to explain how movement kind of changes when you're under those?
So when you have invincibility candy, first of all you take no damage from anything. You're invincible. Enemies that you come into contact with immediately die. The other big thing is that you'll automatically be dashing whenever you start moving, but you can't walk, or at least not easily. This actually makes movement a little bit easier to not have to worry about double tapping the direction button to actually start running again. Because when Meta Knight does his little slash, he goes back to walking speed once you land, so you have to make sure to do that if you want to keep running.
Yeah, it definitely helps with some of those levels because then you just get to hold the direction that you want to go in and just kind of go.
Yeah, unfortunately they don't show up a ton. Also, if you're wondering what's the difference between the game over and devs, pretty much as devs will just send you back to the sort of room, devs will send you back to the hub, so you effectively have to sort the stage over.
Which is major time loss.
Ideally in a run you don't want that. You're going to be losing like over at least a minute. This doesn't wreck the run per se, unless you have a run where you don't game over, in which case it does, but not in the vein of you have to start over.
Yeah.
Unless you soft reset, but don't do that, by the way, if you're running this. You will start the run over, just you do not save during it.
Yep.
The day makes it very clear, like, you have, like, a mid-message saying that you can't save.
And now we have Krakow.
Yeah, so if you're going, so make sure, like, especially if you're gonna run this, make sure you don't soft reset ever, or you will probably get upset at yourself. Also, fight Krakow and fight Krakow, since we're just trying to fly over all of that until we get to the top where he suddenly rubber bands catches up, and then we have to slice the clouds. Apparently,
that was
Meta Knight about as much as he hates Kirby.
That was clean. Ooh. That was really good, Krakow.
I am surprised you didn't get hit with, like, having your back turned.
I am also surprised. Also, kamikaze dive and stop.
Yeah, definitely make sure you stop on that one, because it's very easy to not stop and die. Don't ask me how I know this.
I know it because I've done it. So yeah, you could just... I've forgotten to cancel the dive a couple of times before, and I just fall to my death, and I'm like,
you just
oh,
you just keep going through, and it's honestly funny when it happens, but it's also really embarrassing, because it's like, oh good, I forgot to hit the button.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously you can cancel Meta Knight's down stab dive by pressing B again as you're going.
Yeah, so you need, definitely make sure you do that. But now while we're going through this stage, we have a lot of navigation, not a whole lot is going to be going on that we haven't already talked about. If we have any messages, donations, anything like that, this would also still be a good time for those.
Alright, well, now would be a good time for me to bring up that we would like to extend our thanks to Chill Hop Music for being the provider of much of the music that you hear on stream between runs. If you want to check out their music label, follow the link via the Chill Hop command in chat or the panel underneath the stream. You know, there's those. If you scroll down, it's crazy. We would also like to call attention to the fact that this marathon is being presented by the team at Fast Paced Events. Founded in January 2022, their mission is to promote mental health and LGBTQ+ awareness through speedrunning and to raise money for mental health and LGBTQ+ charities by beating games at a fast pace. You can find more information about the team by checking out their Twitter account over at twitter.com/fastpacedevents or joining the event Discord.
Oh.
But by the way, also just really great group in general. Definitely check them out after this marathon if you or during it if you haven't already. Also, this stage is rough. So like right now, like you've already seen MetroidMaster go through this room here where you have a lot of horizontal movement, lots of jumping, lots of enemies, and then now at the end we have this spike room where it is very easy to die in here, and it's basically you have to play Flappy Knight to get through it.
Which I came close and then I took the hit, so I'm like, well, all right, that's okay.
You did it, game over. That's the important part. That's the really bad one if you game over in that.
Yeah.
This is like, okay, dude, you lost like 2+ minutes now. So you have to do everything to get back there. Not that this next stage was any better, obviously. You have even more spikes. It's another horizontal. And you have the Meta Knights in case you felt like you needed more challenge.
I've been finding myself having to like play this one extremely safe. Yeah, but it paid off. Like,
yeah, this is another one that's kind of easy to take to death in, since like the early axe knights will just they follow a set pattern. They'll just keep swinging their axes, but they are It's easy to actually take a hit trying to hit them because Meta Knight's sword has a little bit of sword and lag. And that will trip you up more than you think it will. I have had way too many instances where, oh, I pressed the button. The sword didn't actually hit the enemy yet, but I hit them.
And considering they're always swinging, there's always like some little extra hitbox in front of them. Otherwise, they're a very clean stage.
Yeah, also Meta Knight does push himself slightly forward with it, so you do have to be a little careful. It's why on boss fights you'll notice that we jump in place a little bit. That's so Meta Knight doesn't keep moving, because otherwise Meta Knight will keep moving forward, and you eventually will probably hit what you're trying to fight.
And cannons.
Oh. Yeah, cannons are always fun. Luckily because we have to hit all these switches, we did a lot of health refills, which is useful, but it doesn't make the run any less difficult, because you still have the movement to deal with, you still have the enemies, you still have the health. You just get more health, you just get more refills that might keep you around a little bit longer.
Especially when you're sitting at 0 lives, and I'm like, well, this is a little bit scary, but that's fine.
Yeah, this is a little bit Razor's Edge, but we're fine. Fine until we're not. That's kind of the standard here.
That's a really good fire line. Can I get out of here, please? Thank you.
Yeah, so fire line doesn't really do anything, which is a good thing. They are also a grappler. They will grab you if you get too close.
Alright, that's 5-5 down. And now we have Wheelie Hell.
Also, we're at the point of the game where we now have a switch in every stage up until 7-1. So now we need to be real careful to make sure we actually get teammates sure we know where we need to. If you haven't memorized it, even if you have sometimes, it's surprisingly easy to still miss one. I've definitely had a run where I've managed to hit all of them and then forgot the one at 7-1, and that was very embarrassing, and that killed my run.
Oh hey, we have an extra life. That'll help.
Right, I forgot this is one of the few areas where you get one extra life, so at least we're not completely at the edge anymore. But if anything, this gives us a little bit of an edge for Heavy Mole. Heavy Mole is a nightmare if you're not playing as Meta Knight, or if you're doing correction. Heavy Mole's a nightmare if you're not playing a category that's not, say, no abilities.
If you were wondering why I was pausing for about a second between attacks there, it's for whatever reason, Heavy Mole just has a lot more iframes than any other boss. Don't know why, he just does. Alright, I am gonna grab this life here for safety.
Yeah, we're not sure about that one. It's less of a deal for Kirby if you're playing standard, just standard 80% run or even 100%. Because for that fight we use Hammer, and Hammer just kind of chews through that, no problem. Even with chews through that and actually hits slightly slower, so we don't have to worry about the insult. If we were doing, say, like a miscellany run, like no ability, you have to wait for it to attack you, and everything that they does is RNG, and it's an absolute RNG nightmare if you decide to do that category for some reason.
That's very clean, Orange Ocean one. Also,
this is also a set of very scary stages, just due to like enemy density and the stuff that's going on in them. But otherwise, things are pretty decent. We're mostly just going to be running, doing the same thing. Running, jumping, hitting switches. If we got any messages, definitely feel free.
We do have quite a significant message. We have $50 from Mr. Shasta.
hey!
Mr. Shasta says, did you know that all 3 Mage Sisters and Kirby Star allies are named after the weapons they wield? Francisca is named after her giant axe, Flamebird after her sword, and Zan Partizane is named after her big spear. Now you learned something. Donate for Mage Sisters. And yes, that donation did go towards helping tip the 3 Mage Sisters towards Adeline and Ribbon. They are now within $30 of each other. So honestly, one big enough donation could tilted over. $50 was most of the difference. That incentive and bid war does close pretty soon, as there is not that much left of this upcoming run. So if you want that to be in your future, please, by all means.
Bye, bonkers.
I think I remember him actually saying he learned that from like Fire Emblem.
It sounds about right. Because I believe some of those weapons do make appearances.
They do. They are. Those weapons are just pretty much what he said they are.
Yep. Either that, or there are weapons of those type in other games.
Oh, Etrian Odyssey. I'm sorry. Wow, I feel bad because I actually remember the reference, but I misremembered the name apparently.
I'm pretty sure there's also a Flamberge weapon in Soul Calibur, and it's used by oh gosh, I'm having a brain fart on his name for some reason, even though he's one of my mains. The Fencer. Wow, that's another life.
I mean, to be fair, they probably also do show up in Fire Emblem, but yeah, it was Etrian Odyssey that came from.
That frog.
Yeah, also Slippies are mean.
That's okay though.
By the way, if we had a nickel for every time we had a semi-annoying frog named Slippy in a Nintendo game, we'd have 2 nickels, which ain't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
Yeah, it is a little weird. I feel like I should be giving that the proper voice. If I had a nickel for every time that's we've had an annoying frog named Slippy, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice.
I'm not really familiar with the show, but I'm gonna assume that's close. Also a thing I did to mention, but that you did see earlier. So yeah, in 4-4, there's that bomb block kind of in the middle. We just stabbed through it since Meta Knight's hitbox just barely lets us do that, and that lets us hit 3 lives, which is incredibly important for the end game. The final set of stages, the final world, the final level is just tough. Especially since after 7-1, we don't get another switch until 7-6. So health refills become a lot more limited by that at that point. For now we're gonna be more or less fine. Unfortunately, one of our health refills comes kind of at a bad moment in terms of like the start of the stage, which that's gonna be our 6-6 one. You don't have to worry about that. Well, actually, probably are worried about that. But point is, normally it would be like welcome. It's like, oh yeah, we did a health refill, you know, right before like a tough segment. Unfortunately, because it's at the start of the stage, we're probably already at full health as our last switch was at the end of the stage. So instead, we are not terribly prepared for the fun that is 6-6 or, you know, UFO hell.
Yeah.
Because UFO hell is a real place, and you will be sent there at the first sign of defiance.
I don't think there was anything I was able to do about that. Speaking of which, we are now in it.
And we are about to die.
Ah! You know what? Go away. Go away. How I did not get sniped there is beyond me, but I will gladly take it.
That isn't a miracle. This room has a bad habit of actually doing that. I take this room so slowly sometimes.
No. Go away, Slippy.
The only upside is we do get a tomato. There is a tomato at the end of the room that we could have taken.
Well.
But we have 1 health for the last set of Meta Knights. It's fine.
It's fine. We take the death and we have full health. We're good.
Or we just do that. That's also worth it. Plus, it's another $1 to charity, which is always good.
Exactly. It's always $1 to charity. So that's what, 5, 6?
I want to say 6. Yeah, 6.
All right, and now we get the Brawl Grand Finals.
Yeah, it's now time for Brawl Top 8. Meta Knight versus Meta Knight. Who will win? My money's on Meta Knight.
Well, Meta Knight definitely won that one. Alright, that's 7. Yo, I wish I could air guard like that. What is this? Marvel vs. Capcom? There we go.
Yeah,
GG, shake my hand.
Meta Knight might need some nerves, trying to be honest. Also 7. But hey, Meta Knight won. Again.
Like, GG, shake my hand.
And then he does, and he just leaves.
It's fine. This is fine.
Yeah, that's pretty much, again, that's still just Meta Knightmare in a nutshell. Everything is fine until it isn't, and then it is no longer fine. But we are coming up to probably one of the more interesting stages, 7-2, where we have a mini-boss gauntlet. We have 2 paths we can take. We take a low path or a high path. The high path is faster, and it's hidden. The scary part of it, though, is you only have 4 fights, but they're all really fast and stronger versions of the standard fights. Monsters is fine, but then we have Fan and Budgie, and it's just a whole thing. Honestly, if we have any messages,
the anti-air.
Go for. Honestly, if you have any messages during this stage, definitely feel free.
Messages from the peanut gallery out there, but now would be a good chance to bring up the fact that GATE works with international decision-making and funding mechanisms in order to help provide trans, gender diverse, and intersex care towards many people throughout the world. They also focus on advancing political mobilization to defend and promote the inclusion of these people and their issues in human rights frameworks. This includes countering the anti-gender movement by highlighting the opposition that trans and gender diverse people face from anti-gender groups, and engaging in strategic collaboration to advocate for specific recommendations. They also help provide support for engaging with the United Nations bodies and processes. And if any money that you would like to spare with could go to our wonderful cause, it would be very greatly appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thankfully, after we deal with 7-2, we did a bunch of 1-ups, which is great for
end game here, yeah.
Everything else that follows. But also this stage is just a rough time. Meta Knight has an easier time than if you do a standard any percent run, because any percent you use an ability called Fall, which does a ton of damage, but it's super hard to use.
I disagree with that hit, but at the same time, I'm just going to grab that tomato for safety. Oh, never mind, actually, I didn't need it, because I get invincibility here. Alright, and now we just hold right to win that.
I mean, the tomato's still good, because we have 7
right.
Up, or as many have, or as it's been remarked in the past, the bad Mario Maker stage. Like, you know those stages in Mario Maker where there's just tons of enemies, all willy-nilly, it's just kind of annoying to try to get through. Well, this is that stage.
Tornado has my number. No! The ball!
But you see entirely too many enemies, like lots of naughties, lots of the ball enemy, lots of twisters, lots of twizzies, that's the little kind of bird shit looking thing. And then if that wasn't enough, we have the clock rooms, where you have even worse things to deal with, and you're not really any safer than you were in that first room, let's be honest. It is still very easy to take hits and die. Thankfully, we're through the worst of it now.
I'm gonna do a cheeky little 1-up grab there. Not that I should need it, but it's really gonna depend on who throws hands with me at the end here.
Yeah, that is the one of most.
Also, lots of
don't
flashing
go
lights.
as well as that door, though.
That's 8.
Actually, you are. If you just died, which I think you did, yes, you did. You were up to 11.
Alright.
But yeah, this first room, you have a lot of bombers, which aren't great to deal with. Then you have this grand wheelie, which is kind of fast. We're not done. We also have there's also the wind tunnel, which we're seeing. Good luck on that one, because it is tricky to navigate. You have the burning enemies that try to hit you. Thankfully, it's not.
I'm surprised that laser enemy.
I'm surprised you managed to duck under that, because I thought that was going to be step number 12.
I did too. I'll be honest.
The explosion hurt boxes are surprisingly big. They're actually a little bit deceptive. But now we're in our penultimate stage. Pretty much just a Kirby Dreamland 1 kind of redux. Honestly, it's a really neat stage. Stage is kind of like right now we see the green rooms. Now we're going through the castle low rooms. Each stage of the original game has 2 rooms to them. And our final switch is actually also a reference to a hidden room that was in the original if you entered the moon. We have effectively called this the moon.
You know what? For safety.
Yeah. Also, it's still this still isn't the easiest to get through. So it's still we're not completely in the clear.
Well, the Scarfies like to really just jump you, and yeah.
There is a trick to it for what it's worth. I take that one slightly slow for kind of that reason.
And whee!
And there is our final switch. So now all that's left is the final boss, King DDD himself. Thankfully, Meta Knight does not have to deal with Knightmare.
Alright, and shoutouts to Keith the Geek, who is like the nastiest King DDD player I know. Especially when it comes to Project M, Project Plus. Also a good local friend of mine. And time comes up, on the final hit.
On final hit.
And time!
Honestly, pretty good fight. It's very easy to die and end up killing the run there. In fact, that's actually kind of what happened to the previous world record, sadly. Like really solid run and then DDD kind of mess it up.
All right, so I'm seeing a.
That is a.
I think that is. I'm seeing 39:30 in-game time. What's my IGT?
That
Sorry,
is
not
right,
IGT. RTA. 4042. Yeah, I think that is a PB. Let me check my splits real quick. I do want to see that. Hang on.
Yeah, because I do believe the last one you showed me was like a 4011.
But
really.
So my
really
RTA on my previous PB was a 4124. So that was like almost a minute PB.
Yeah, that is.
So.
That is a pretty big PB. Honestly, it's been really nice seeing your progress since you had ended up running.
I will happily take that. I'll take a marathon PB. So. Very good game. So thank y'all, Fast Pace Events, for having me. It was a lot of fun getting to run this game. If you want to find me, you can find me at twitch.tv/MetroidMaster. You'll find me running this game. I run the Game Boy Advance Metroid games, so Metroid Zero Mission, Metroid Fusion. I hold a world record in Windjammers. Recently did X-Men Arcade at GDQ. Lots of fun stuff coming around, and probably a little bit more casual stuff as my marathon seasons start to wind down, but you'll definitely find me there. We also like doing a lot of randomizers as well, typically of the Metroid and Zelda kind. So yeah, thank y'all very much for having me, and I guess I will pass it back to our host. And Dark Soul, we will see you on stream again very soon. Yeah.
Yeah, because our next one is actually the one I'll be doing. So sit tight. I will
All
be
right.
back.
So I will sign off, and I will see you all next mission.